Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the cheap 2017 Transit Custom. It's a bit of a weird one today. We're actually starting this video. We've got a bit of extra time before tonight's video goes out. So we got a bit of extra time, got ahead of ourselves, and we're actually going to make a start on the next video on this van today. So how we left it in the last one. If you haven't watched the videos on this van, please go back and watch part 1 and part 2. Very, very interesting. So this van had a sheared cam belt. We've got it here. And as you can see, it's got probably 1/3 of the teeth actually missing off the belt. We've now got the engine all running, but it is chuffing really bad out of injector number 2. I've got new seals for it. So the copper washers, these squash down and make a nice tight seal underneath. We're going to need to strip some of this off on the top here, get those injectors pulled out, get the original copper washers off the end of them, and get those nice new ones fitted on there, get them slotted back in and hopefully stop that leak. Now we did deliberately, when we was getting the van running, we wanted to leave off as much as we could to get it running. So this actual top cover that covers up quite a lot, and it's a bit of a sound deadening pad as well, we actually left that off, so that does need to go back on there. But you can see it's got this heat shield here, or rub through shield. All of these pipes here, we've just temporarily put them on there. We haven't even got any bolts in this one holding it on. We just set it up so that the intercooler was connected. So we're actually going to get all that removed, get that done, and then get this piece put back on there as well, and then we'll continue on with the van, getting it all back together. Let's crack straight on and get to it. Sure, I won't have to show you all of them, guys, but I thought I'd just do one straight away. So that's the injector, and that's number 2 I pulled out that was chuffing back quite bad. I did just run a bit of paper towel down there, and as you can see, it was quite mucky in the bottom there, and that's only really where it's been leaking by. And if you look at the copper washer, you can just see the edge there, and that's actually where it was chuffing out of. So I'll put a tiny little smear of grease on here just to hold the new washer on, and then we'll get that one fitted back in and that one will be done. It is actually the next day now, guys. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we was just doing a bit before we went home that evening. So we've done all 4 injector seals, we've put that sound deadening pad back on, and temporarily put the airbox back on again, just so that we can start it up. Long as it sounds fine, we're going to crack on and get this back together. Ready when you are, Chris. Yeah, give it a rev. It ain't chuffing though, you can hear it. Yeah, perfect. Quite happy with that, guys. No noises, nothing. Everything sounds exactly as it should. So we still need to get some AdBlue for it. And I'm not even sure how much diesel. Has it got diesel in it? 70 miles. 70 miles, so it does want a bit of diesel and some AdBlue. Let's get straight on with it and start piecing this back together. All quite straightforward stuff there, guys. We really just concentrated, just double checked everything was tight. There was a water pipe on there to go back on. Then of course we got the 2 water pipes on the radiator. And while I was just filling up the header tank there, Chris was checking for water leaks, and there you go, he's actually found one. So we'll have to look into that, but that was the idea, get some water in it and make sure it's got no leaks while it's all stripped out like this, because we don't want to be diving in there after it's all back together. It just makes life that much more difficult. Let's look into this leak and then carry on. That is exactly why we didn't want to fit the front all back up. Luckily, we've been able to just lean the radiator forward, but you can see it was behind here, and it's got 2 pipes on the bottom and 1 on the top. And we're actually thinking it's the one that was on the top that's actually probably caused this issue, which was that one. It goes on up that way, and that top hose there, we really struggled. For anybody that's worked on cars and dealt with these spring clips, you'll know exactly what we mean. We really did struggle to get it off. It was quite tight, and if you look, hopefully you can just about see it just through there. There's actually a hairline crack in that, and that is actually 90 odd pound plus VAT, that thermostat housing. So I now need to go round to the dealer, because it is a dealer only item. There's none aftermarket available, so I'm going to whip round there, pick up a nice new one of these, get it bolted on, and pretty much go back to where we was and fill it back up with water and double check it. And there we go, guys, there's the new one, and as you can see, there is slight variations in them, and I did just actually call them up and double check that it was exactly the same, and he said that this is actually improved. But you would, obviously it is, but you would find that hard to believe, because that new one actually looks, the body of it looks smaller there compared to the original one. So let's get that fitted on there and then top it back up with water, and hopefully, fingers crossed, no more leaks. I think we nailed it there, guys. I've bolted it up, put all of the pipes back on, and of course was very careful. But this pipe here, you can see you got this pipe actually in the way of the clip, so I had to put it halfway down over the top of this pipe and then get the pipe clips underneath and come down. Of course the radiator wasn't there, but I had to be extra careful with it, because I definitely think where we've had a pull on that, that's what's cracked it. So that's fitted now. I've put the water in there, and I did just sit there for probably about 10 minutes, just finished my coffee, and the water hasn't moved. So once we start it up, obviously that is going to drop down and we're going to need to top it up. But so far so good. Let's move on and actually get the front panel secured. That way it'll hold the radiators, and maybe we'll run it up and let the water go through and put some more in it. Let's do it. Once you get on a roll there, it really doesn't take long. The hardest part of putting that back on, believe it or not, was these, that obviously they're sided left and right, and I couldn't remember actually exactly where they went, so I did just have to have a little look just to double check where they did go, but they're now back in place. They do say non-aircon on them and left and right, so I was able to work it out through that. Then I just watched the video back. I'm here on my own for a minute. I couldn't remember if we took the headlights out, then the bumper off, and that is exactly how we done it. So the bumper's got to go on next, then the headlights go in last. So I'll continue on with that, but still fitting that up, it's probably took about 25 minutes. The water is still in the same place, it's not moved. There is a little bit running down here, but that's just what I spilt filling it up. And of course, that little bit out there was from that leak that we ended up with yesterday. So fingers crossed, all the water side of it is done. That is now secure. I probably will run it up just briefly, let this go down a little bit, just so that we can top it up, and of course double check one more time once that does go down and starts pumping around the system that none of it is leaking on the floor. It shouldn't do. It didn't have any other leaks apart from that one there. So let's crack straight on and try and get this all back together. I just thought we better stop there, guys. Time lapse. Don't want to put any more in it if I can help it. So the front bumper's all on there. I've got to put the screws in the end of the wheel arch liners to hold that on. Both sides got one headlight to put in, and there's a couple of shields that go underneath it. There's one that goes round all of the pulleys, and there's a couple of nuts and bolts to put in that. And then you've got the main one underneath that protects the bottom pulley. So really moved along with it quite far. I'll just continue on off camera. I know it was getting quite tedious. I'm here on my own for a little while, so I didn't want to just sit there and time lapse it all. Once I'd done this side, you pretty much get a gist of what I was going to do that side, but everything's gone back together lovely, and it really is starting to look the part now. So fingers crossed, another half an hour and I should be pretty much there with it, and then we can pull it outside. But I did start it up. You can see that water has dropped down now. That is going to need running again and then topping up again, but it really does sound nice actually. It's very, very quiet, and yeah, job's a good one. I'll crack on and get that done. I will have to get Chris to help me when he gets back. Just get the bonnet bang on. It's very, very close considering I did it on my own, but it does want slightly adjusting. So here goes nothing. First time this has moved in a long time. I haven't put that toe and eye cap in yet either. I need to try and find it. Job's a good one. Like I said, guys, I do need to bleed up that system now as well, and just keep an eye on that, top it up. Gonna leave it outside, get cleaned up in here, and then we'll crack straight on. We'll probably give that a bit of a clean as well actually, and I don't know if we're going to be able to, but I'd like to try and actually get it MOT'd in this video as well, because there's nothing left. Literally the last bit to put on is that toe and eye cap, and it wasn't in there when we purchased the van because it had a towing eye in it. So I just need to find that and get that in there. But what a relief to get that out the door and almost ready to go. Chris is back now, and we're just sitting here. We was debating whether to actually get all the cleaning stuff out, but it is quite hot, and they did make a nice job of that Skoda. So we've decided we're actually going to take it down the car wash. We are going to run round though these stickers and get them off with some thinners before we take it. And then round this side, I noticed when I slammed the door, you might be able to hear it, there's a lot of glass in the bottom of it, and I've noticed that there's actually glass in the door panel, and then when you look up here, it's had a bag put over it. So we're just going to go around, get rid of all of that glue residue, because they're not going to get that on at the car wash. And Chris said, yeah, even though we'll probably sell it with the seat covers, we are going to take them off, throw them in the washing machine, and just let the car wash hoover all the seats, clean the floor. And it is quite dusty. That is just dust on that bulkhead there, so it should all come off nicely with a vacuum. So that's the plan. But we've topped the water up. That's the oil that was left over after doing the oil service on it. The bonnet's all aligned, that's perfect. The water's all topped up, the heater's blowing out hot, so fingers crossed, I think we're pretty much there with it, apart from the bodywork. So we'll just concentrate on getting these off, and then we'll whip it down the car wash, get them to clean it up, and then I have booked it in for an MOT. So let's go and get it cleaned first. You're struggling there, Chris?
Yeah, it's getting enough room.
To get the, does the seat pump downwards?
I think so. Go right.
You got it? You got to wind the seat all the way forward to get the headrest out. We got there. They do such a good job there. They really do. I can't wait to show you. It looks like a completely different van outside. Let's now head over to the MOT, see how we get on there. What a success, guys. Year's MOT. 2 advisories passed with defects. One of the rear registration plates, so the little number plate lights, is quite dim. He said take it out, clean it up, put a new bulb in there, just try it. It's only going to be something silly like that. And the next thing was monitor and repair if necessary. Advisory, brake pads wearing thin, offside rear. So I've just rung GSF. I'm actually sitting outside here now, and the set of rear pads for it were £19.12p. Drive Tech. So I've got them here. We go back to the yard and get them fitted. But so far, everything's going the way we want it to. It was Chris that just mentioned to me, guys, I didn't actually show any of that, just on time lapse, and quite a lot of you do watch to learn how to do your own pads on your vehicle. So that's the new ones fitted in there. It will sound a little bit like that till we pump it up. But basically I've got the brake winding tool out. You can see those 2 pins on the back there. They actually go into the piston. This plate backs in. Sorry, I'm just trying to do it one-handed. You can pretty much see it goes in there, and this plate goes behind, and then you just wind that piston shut. Take off the caliper here, leave the carrier on there, give it all a brush out, nice brush out of a wire brush. I even cleaned up the little excess bit that was on the disc there. The disc is in quite nice condition, and I even cleaned up the excess around here. They do have anti-squill pads on the back of them. These are genuine Ford. I shouldn't imagine they're the originals, and I'm not. You can see they are sort of only half worn as well, so the other side must be a bit worse, because that's the side, the other side was the side that it was advised. But basically we're just going to do a repeat on the other side of what we've just done this side. Even though, sorry, they have got squill pads on the back of them, it's just, back in the day you had to put copper slip on them, and we do still tend to do that. It aids putting them in, and if they was going to squill, that would stop it. So I'll crack on and get the other side done. That is it. Look how lovely that looks. There is still body work to do on it, but me and Chris just had a chat. We're probably not going to include that in the video, because you guys know we've just got to get that wheel arch done on it. But down the car wash, come up nice. They've done all the seals and that as well, which that does always stick out. We don't actually get it as clean under there as it is everywhere else. Nice new rear pads in it as well. These little marks, we're not going to get them done. It is a work van, 2017, so it's coming up 4 years old now. And if you remember, that is the biggest damage on it, that little part there. Inside, come up very nice. Just give it a nice hoover out, nice clean. I did say to him no silicons, so that's why nothing's shiny on it. We've got no bumper trims, no bumper gel or anything like that on it, and I didn't want it on there because it has got to go to the paint shop and we don't want any silicons. Let's go inside and crunch the numbers. Everybody's favourite bit, the numbers. Guys, so as you know, one of our subscribers, Neil, reached out to me on Instagram, sent me his phone number and said, are you interested in this van? He sent me some pictures. I said, yeah, I'll be interested. What's the issue? And he said basically it had been diagnosed with the wet belt snapped. So straight away, before I even purchased it from Neil, we started looking around for an engine for it, because on builds like this, worst way, it's going to need an engine. And there's quite a lot of horror stories about those 2 litre Eco Blues. So we actually priced an engine up, and it was the only one that was available to buy immediately was £2,850 plus VAT, and that was a reconditioned engine. So we allowed, like, that's how we priced it up. So we paid £3,000 for that van, which is a bargain. The transport to get it home, it wouldn't go on my truck, it's far too heavy and far too long. But we found someone very reasonable, and that was £150. The engine parts, don't hold me to this list, because there will be bits I'm possibly missing off of here, but we have priced up all of the receipts that we've got. So we got the cam carrier, timing belt, timing tensioner, oil pump belt, timing cover, thermostat housing, gasket, sealant, etc. £788.82p. The second-hand battery we had to get for it, it just would not take a charge. £60. Seals. What's this seals we got on here, Chris? Injector seals, yes. £13.49p from Ford. I had to go and get them. Oil and filter, £64.94. Brake pads I've just been and got. I said earlier in the video, that was £19 all in. MOT was £40. The clean was £20. Fuel and AdBlue, it was out of both, £50. We got a total price of £4,206.25. So it worked out very cheap, but we took a chance. We could have blown a bit of money by not trying those bits on it, and of course it turned out it paid off trying those bits on it. We haven't added the paintwork on there, and we haven't actually decided what we're going to do with that van. Chris said, should we keep it? And I said, no, we've already got a little van. And then we've said, shall we put a set of alley wheels on it and have it all colour coded while it's round the paint shop? So we're kind of really undecided what we're going to do with it at the moment. But of course, the most important thing is for me to actually start using that van now. I'm going to do a couple of 100 miles in it and just put it through its paces and make sure that it is 100%, because we wouldn't never want to sell it to someone and down the road something goes wrong with it. So also, I received well over 50 inboxes on Instagram of people saying, as soon as that van's for sale, I want it. And guys, I know quite a lot of you already know, and I know it sounds repetitive me saying it, but nothing that we do on the channel is ever for sale until you see that post on Instagram where it says the vehicle is for sale, inbox me your contact details. So quite a lot of people actually may have misheard that a little bit as well, because they've sent me their messages and then they've sent me their number saying, I forgot I had to send you my number, ring me as soon as it's ready. I can't do it like that because it's not fair on everybody else, and we can't really work out a happy medium to list the vehicles for sale. So that is the only way that we can do it that makes it fair for everyone. I suppose it's a bit like fastest finger first, but that's the only way we can do it. We don't want to go down that route of putting them on eBay and doing that 99p start and letting the highest bidder get it, because quite frankly, I'll never list a car on eBay again after the last one we listed on there, because it just got run up and I ended up having to relist it. So the van worked out really cheap, and like I said, we're undecided, but I'm sure in the future we'll let you know what we're up to with it. It has got to go to the paint shop and have that wheel arch done, and while it's there we are going to get a quote, and just if it's worth doing, they do look really, really smart when they're all one colour. Sorry guys, I am waffling on and this is really, really getting on now. So don't forget, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe and share. Check out the merchandise, the link is in the description, and we'll see you Friday in the next one.